What's up, Undisputed listeners? It's your boy, Sharpe. I wanted to tell you about my new podcast, Club Shay, where we always do something before two something. Each week, I sit down with a guest for a drink and conversation, and as host and proprietor of Club Shay, I've welcomed in esteemed guests such as Snoop Dogg, Floyd Money Mayweather, LeVar Ball, Isaiah Thomas, just to mention a few. Whether I'm talking to an athlete, a musician, an actor, or a lifelong friend, Club Shay is a place where people share inspiring and motivational stories about their journeys to prominence. The new episode drops every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to Club Shay now and make sure you never miss a new episode. Now back to Undisputed.
Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from LA. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning over there. How you guys doing?
Good. How you doing, Skip? He up to Goldie's things again.
He was up to his old tricks again last night. In the fourth quarter, he shot two late, run up the score threes. He did it 2 nights in a row. Would you believe that with 3:51 left, he made a three that put them up 16, and then 2:50 left, he makes another three that puts them up 18. And you're defending that?
Yeah.
You're goading that?
I tell you what.
How could you do that? How does he get away with this?
Ask the Pelicans what it's like to be up by 17 with 6 minutes to go. Is the game over?
Yeah. Well, hey, ask the Pelicans what it does feel like to get up 17 because they got firepower.
But they lost.
All right, yeah.
They ain't put that out.
Yeah.
You know what it is, Skip.
Yeah, until playoff time, it's game time.
We have so much to get to, so much packed show today, but plenty of news surrounding Deshaun Watson. I want to break down for you guys right now. Despite the Houston Texans insisting that a disgruntled Deshaun Watson will be their quarterback in 2021, they have added another signal caller to the group just in case, agreeing with Tyrod Taylor on a 1-year, $12.5 million deal. Reports then surfaced yesterday that Watson prefers to be traded to Denver or San Francisco. And then, just last night, sexual assault allegations were made against Watson, which led the QB to put out a statement denying the allegations and saying he looks forward to clearing his name. No criminal charges have been filed at this point. So this is really just coming out. So Shannon, with all of that, what do you make of everything?
Skip, I think we have to take what Jenny addressed last and approach it first.
Okay.
It is an allegation. Allegation is not guilty. Let's let this run its course. Let the authorities, if they need to get involved, because I don't think charges have been filed. It's just a lawsuit.
None that we know of.
Let this run its course.
Yep.
And then the appropriate action should be taken place.
We have not even seen the lawsuit.
We haven't even seen the lawsuit. So I don't even feel comfortable giving it oxygen, considering there's so little that we know about the situation. But since the guy put it out there on IG, Deshaun responded, says, I look forward to clearing my name, is something that we have to address. Hopefully, it comes to it, whatever happens, it plays its way out, and then we can move on. To Deshaun on the football field. What they're talking about, Skip, you and I have talked about, and I said from the very beginning, the best situation for Deshaun Watson, I believe, was in the 49ers. I've also talked to people close to Deshaun, the 49ers would be a place that he would welcome an opportunity. Now, Deshaun Watson holds the cards because, Skip, he has the no-trade clause. Someone can come out of the woodworks and say, okay, we have this. But if it's not someplace Deshaun is willing to go, well, you're kind of stuck because he's not going to just let you ship him off to nowhere. The Broncos, I'm like, okay, yeah, I would love to, Skip, that's my team, played 12 years there, won some championships. So I love the Broncos. And would I love to see him there? Sure. But I believe a better situation for him, football-wise, career-wise, would be the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan. They just re-signed Trent Williams, highest-paid left tackle in football. He's one of the premier left tackles in football. So they solidified that. They have a signal caller in Kyle Shanahan, Skip. We know what he can do. Matt Ryan went to the Super Bowl, won an MVP with Kyle Shanahan calling the plays. Jimmy Garoppolo had some of his best years. The problem with Jimmy G, he can't stay healthy. And you can't win championships when you're supposedly one of your best players, the guy that touches the ball on every snap, can't stay healthy. So from the beginning, I would like to see Kyle and Deshaun link up. But all this stuff about Deshaun would welcome a trade. Look, let me tell you what Deshaun wants more than anything. To be gone from Houston. That's what he wants more than anything. There is irreparable harm that has been done between Cal McNair, Easterby, and he doesn't even really know the new guy, but because of how it all shook out,
Caserio.
Yep. He doesn't really know him.
Yep.
But it's like, hey, but I know the two guys that's been here, and they were dishonest to me. I would like to move on, and I'm going to do everything in my power to see that through. So you do what you need to do. I'm just going to sit over here and do what I need to do. But I believe Deshaun Watson wants to be gone more than anything. But he's not going to let you just ship him anywhere.
Okay.
The 49ers would be very good. I like the Broncos personally because that's my team. But the 49ers is the best place for Deshaun.
Okay, got it. I am here to tell you that more than anything in the world, the Houston Texans do not want Deshaun to be gone.
They do not.
Okay. So, issue number one, I'm going to go football first.
Okay.
Tyrod Taylor signed by Houston yesterday and got a pretty good deal. He got $12 million. So it's like low-end starter.
Right.
I've always respected Tyrod Taylor as being a pretty good starting quarterback in the National Football League. He is definitely a viable alternative if you don't have Deshaun. And to me, he was signed because Houston believes there's a distinct possibility that they're going to just stalemate all the way through camp and that Deshaun is going to be forced to sit on ice next year while they just say, well, you're under contract for the next, 4 years, actually more than 4 years.
Actually, this year, if I'm not mistaken, Skip, this is his option. So the 4 years, the fourth year doesn't start until next year.
Okay, so they have his rights for a long time.
Correct.
And they're saying, we earned those rights because we paid you last year in your new deal, so we are going to exercise our right to keep you. So they're saying Tyrod would work for us because they just acquired Pep Hamilton from the Chargers. And Pep Hamilton, I don't know if you followed his career. But there was a time he came up under Herman Edwards, close friend of mine. I thought Pep Hamilton was going to be the next big, hot black coach. Like I'm talking about head coach in this league. And I don't know what happened, but he's bounced all around.
Did unbelievable numbers with Andrew Luck.
He did.
Justin Herbert.
He did. And he had one shot with the D.C. Defenders in the XFL, and it didn't last very long, but that was his one head coaching shot. But anyway, he was with the Chargers last year. Now he's with David Culley, the new coach of the Houston Texans, as the sort of assistant head coach and the offensive coordinator. So for Tyrod, who worked with Pep last year, this works. This is a nice fit.
Somebody's familiar with the system.
Okay, got it. So I think they are preparing for the worst with Tyrod to be their starting quarterback, not while Deshaun's gone, but while he sits out next year. And then they'll just play chicken with him. Well, how long do you want to sit? Because, we'll keep paying you to sit.
Right.
But how long are you going to like not playing football? So that's going to be the issue going forward. And I think this story has just begun, and it's going to get ugly for a long time.
I do believe, but Skip, knowing Deshaun the little bit that I know him, is that, and you see how active he's become with social issues. He realized that sometimes these boycotts that Dr. King and these people, Skip, they didn't last a week. They last 6 months. They last a year.
I hear you.
So he has to understand when you take a stance like this, you got to be willing to see it through.
You do. And it's hard because he loves
the game of football. Yes.
Does he? And no one competes any harder or better at a higher level than Deshaun. And he would obviously miss it. But if his principles are such that he believes he has been done so wrong by that organization without being allowed to have much, if any, input, then you got to stand by your principles, and you got to be willing just to sit at home for a whole football season, watching from afar while your team struggles or whatever's going. They're probably going to struggle.
Yes.
Okay. So now we go back to Deshaun. Obviously, he's be able to pick and choose where he gets traded to. So we're back to the Athletic report. Great with the 49ers, but to your point, the Broncos threw me a big curveball because all the speculation has been Jets or Dolphins. Well, the Athletic report, for which I have respect, is saying no Jets, no Dolphins, but Broncos, 49ers. To your point, 49ers make all the sense in the world, and I would believe that could be the number one destination on his list. But your Broncos, since Peyton left and they won their Super Bowl, what was it, 5 years ago?
5 years, yep.
They have not made the playoffs since. And in
They've been
4 of
close.
those years, they were under 500.
That is correct.
Whew, really? So they went 5-11 last year. And so I look at what would be intriguing to him. Jerry Jeudy.
They got some young talent. They got Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton's coming up. They got Tim Patrick. They got Noah Fant. Skip, they got a decent skill
I like
position.
KJ Hamler when he was at Penn State because he can fly.
Yes.
Okay, so it's decent, but is it better than Kittle and Debo and Ayuk? I don't think so.
No.
Is it better than Trent Williams? And by the way, I had my list. We're going to talk about our best remaining free agents, but as I went to sleep last night, Trent Williams was by far number one on my list, and he was the number one free agent acquisitioner out there on the list of non-quarterbacks that there was, period, end of story, because he's a Hall of Famer. I'm pretty sure he's going to join you in the Hall of Fame.
Because, Skip, what you can do is that you're like, okay, Trent, you got him. And now we can slide the protection to protect other places. We don't have to worry about that. Your premium guy, we're not chipping, we're not helping. He's neutralized that. So, and plus he was talking to the Chiefs.
He was.
So
he got huge money.
The biggest in NFL history for a lineman.
And he deserves it because he's made 8 straight Pro Bowls. And he was, that draft year, if you go back to 2012, he was the 4th overall pick. My Oklahoma Sooners dominated because they had 3 of the top 4, starting with Sam Bradford. And the point is that he has lived up to that status the whole way. And he is a premium left tackle. So for Deshaun, I'd say, bingo. I would be great in San Francisco, and I'm sure Kyle Shannon would love to have Deshaun Watson over Jimmy G.
Of course.
So there's no doubt about any of that, but I still say we're going to have to go through a whole year of an impasse, a stalemate that will get uglier and bloodier by the day.
I think Skip, no, let's get to the draft first, because we're still a month away from the draft. That's going to tell you how dug in they are. Because there's still the draft is that, do we want an opportunity? Because it would seem like, I agree with you, it would seem like that if they get past the draft, it's probably going to be a year-long process. Up until the draft, we got 3 first-round picks. We got this year pick. I think San Francisco's picking fairly early. But I don't care. Anybody's good, for the most part, Skip, with the exception of maybe 5 teams, everybody's going to be willing to give up 3 first-round picks because you believe that if you get Deshaun, you're going to be picking in the late 20s anyway. And you're never going to be able to find a guy like that picking there. So they're not going to have a problem, and I think that's what Houston knows. Houston like, we want 3 first-round picks. Okay. So everybody's going to give that up, Skip, because these guys, we're going to talk about this later, Skip. Those type of guys don't come along in their 20s. They normally come with injuries or in their late 40s, a la Tom Brady, a la Peyton Manning, a la Drew Brees. All came with a little baggage, Skip. That guy got no baggage, and he's 25.
I'm here to say it's never, ever happened before.
It's never happened.
There's never, ever been a more valuable quarterback, quote, unquote, on the market than this one. I don't think he's on the market yet as far as the Texans are concerned. They might get forced to put him on the market.
They didn't put a for sale sign. He put a for sale sign on himself.
Okay, now to your first point, the lawsuit that was filed. All I know about this lawsuit is, even if there's zero truth to the allegation, it's not going to help Deshaun's ability to get traded because a red flag has gone up. And you know how people are in this day and age. Even if the red flag goes up and there's zero truth to it, they're still thinking, well, man, I don't know. It would give everybody who potentially wants Deshaun a little reason or maybe a bigger reason to doubt him. Okay, so to your point, I have absolutely no idea what transpired here. I have zero on either side. It could be 100% accurate or it could be 0% accurate. I don't know. All I do know is that Tony Busby, the attorney who filed it, is something of a celebrity attorney, attorney in Houston, who ran for mayor and lost in 2019. And all I know is that he did tell Fox 26, even though we don't know what his lawsuit said, was that Deshaun Watson went too far with a woman who was giving him a massage. That's all we know. And we do know, in a surprise to me, Deshaun has already responded on Twitter to the allegations, just completely shooting them down. He said he rejected a baseless six-figure settlement demand, like it was just a money grab. And he's all about clearing my name, and I look forward to doing that. And he said, in conclusion, I have never treated any woman with anything other than the utmost respect. Okay? If I had been advising Deshaun, if it was baseless, I wouldn't have responded to it in the first place. But he did, so we need to respond to his response.
To his response,
we need to acknowledge that he did it.
Right.
So, in the end, no criminal charges.
Right.
So we just, to your point, need to wait and see how this plays out over the next few days or even weeks. But in the end, it won't do him any good in his trade demand.
Right.
So it comes out of left field, and you don't know what the motivation is. What's the timing of it? What is it possibly motivated by making it harder for Deshaun to get traded?
If I'm Deshaun, it's like, okay, let's get an investigation. Let's get people on the record. Let's get people that if they lie, they can be held accountable.
Well, absolutely.
Because you Skip, even if you just throw this out there, there are going to be people, even if this goes away. I wonder if Deshaun did that. Deshaun probably settled behind the scene. It's out there. That's one thing, Skip. Don't fit somebody with that jacket. Don't just put that out there. Don't do that. Skip, I'm not here to defend. I'm not here to do anything. But I'm just saying, I just wish people just make sure that when you go this route, because that man can never get his whole reputation back.
I agree. To my knowledge of closely following Deshaun since his Clemson days, I have no knowledge of any baggage. I don't know anything negative about Deshaun. So his track record, I think, is about as clean as it could be. So let's get that on the record also. So in the end, a very negative situation in Houston just got even more negative. And in the end, I think it's just going to carry on into the season. And I'm going to predict we're going to talk about this almost as much as we talked about Dak Prescott versus Jerry Jones, because it's shaping up as that kind of lengthy battle.
Skip, you mentioned them signing Tyrod. But given what they have, you saw what Deshaun had a great season, and he couldn't get them to 500. You think Tyrod Taylor is going to get that team with those weapons, with that team? Is he going to get them to 500? They're probably going to be picking first or second in the draft if Tyrod is their quarterback. And that's not a knock on Tyrod. But Tyrod can't elevate a team like this kid can.
He cannot. He knows what it feels like to try to elevate an under-talented team. Because remember, Tyrod started for those 3 years in Buffalo when they obviously weren't New England. And in those 3 years, he threw 51 touchdowns to only 16 interceptions. That's pretty good. So I have nothing but the highest regard for Tyrod as an NFL starter. And he's been around. He knows the ropes. He knows his leadership ability is extreme. Remember, Hugh Jackson started him over Baker Mayfield when Baker was the first overall pick. And one of Hugh's key points was this team follows Tyrod. They believe in Tyrod. So I have no doubt he'll go in there and make the best of that situation. But he may get stuck in a tough spot because he may be trying to hold the place for Deshaun because they're not giving up. They're not giving in to Deshaun's demands.
You're right. That's correct. It's a bad situation that got a little messier with this lawsuit.
It did.
No mercy.
Hey, Undisputed listeners, I wanted to tell you about our brand new Fox Sports app and website, foxsports.com. Reimagined for the modern sports fan. Go ahead, download the new app right now. You don't even have to pause this episode. Every day on the new app and website, you'll see the top stories in sports, plus a rich world of written content, videos, social media, and analytics to give you a 360-degree view of the most important stories of the day. Streaming live TV has never been so easy or elegant. Every Fox Sports game, including all pregame and postgame shows, are just one click away. For the extra invested fan, we also go deep with real-time wagering lines, trending prop bets, win probability, and key player projections. Download the new Fox Sports app or visit www.foxsports.com.
Hey, Undisputed listeners, it's Charlotte Wilder here to tell you about my new podcast with Mark Titus called the People Sports Podcast. It comes out every Thursday, and Mark and I take one of the big stories of the week, and then we go off on tangents you never saw coming. This might mean that we start talking about the Dodgers winning the World Series and end up wondering if Knicks fans deserve happiness. Or begin with LeBron's greatness and end up drafting our ultimate beer league softball team made up of old athletes. Whatever it is, the only rule of the show is that it has to be fun and funny, because these days we could all use as many laughs as we can get. So check it out wherever you get your podcasts and come down weird sports rabbit holes with us. We can't wait to have you.
Bill Belichick isn't usually aggressive in free agency, but after his first losing season since 2000, the Patriots signed 8 players in a 24-hour span. But according to Pro Football Focus, New England overpaid several players, including Johnny Smith and Nelson Aguilar, adding, quote, the Patriots' free agency flurry is only setting the franchise up for quarterback purgatory, though. The roster isn't good enough for a postseason run, and it isn't bad enough to secure prime draft capital for a franchise quarterback. So what's going on? Shannon, is there any truth to this?
This is utterly ridiculous, Pro Football Focus.
This is your favorite website.
This is dumb.
They just do it to you day after day after day. I think they write these just for you.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Since 1993, since they actually in the advent of free agency, teams have always overpaid for free agent, Skip. Why else would a guy leave his situation? He knows the city. He's had success in that offense or that defense. He knows how they're going to use him. Why would he leave that with the same money and go somewhere else, an unfamiliar city, an offense that they might not use him the same way, a defense that might not use him the same way that he was used the last 3, 4, 5 years? But he's just going to uproot his family and take the same or less money to go somewhere else. Where do they do that at? Normally, Skip, when someone transfers jobs, do they leave for less money or they go for more money? Pro Football Focus, come on with this. Okay, Pro Football Focus, let me ask you this. Name the time a primetime franchise quarterback has ever been able to hit the market that was not hurt. Peyton Manning, Skip, they gave him a 10% chance to ever play football again.
Yep.
They gave Drew Brees a 20% chance. Tom Brady came available in after year 20 at 42 years of age. Mm-hmm. So, Pro Football Focus, I need you to release some data in which a franchise quarterback with no baggage, no history, has become available. My grandfather used to say, boy, options and choices. Tell me the options that you have, and I'll tell you the choices you should make. Okay, here are the options, Skip. Ryan Fitzpatrick, Andy Dalton, Jameis Winston, Cam Newton. Those are your options. They chose Cam, who's been in the system. They like the way he prepares. They say, you know what, another year removed from that injury, a guy in this system, give him some weapons. We like Cam. They make it seem like they said, nah, we'll take Cam over Deshaun, or we'll take Cam over Russell Wilson, or Patrick Mahomes. Those other guys weren't options, so you can't choose if you don't have those options.
Well, Tom Brady was an option. You pushed him out the back door.
Skip, we're talking about now. Yes, okay. Yes, that's my point. Tom Brady became available after year 20. Skip, these are extenuating circumstances in which a guy of that caliber becomes available. Do you believe Tom Brady in year 10 would have been available? Or Peyton Manning with no injury would have become available? Yep. Now, Drew Brees, that's a different story, Skip, because they had Phillip Rivers in waiting. They had waited 2 years. Yep. So I get that. But to think, so what free agent quarterback is going to be available in the next, say, year that's going to prevent them from signing him? I want to know the free agent that they see coming on the horizon. Top guy. Oh, they got a chance at Josh Allen. They got a chance at Kyler. They got a chance at Lamar Jackson. What free agent do they see coming down the pipeline that's going to be available? And guess what, Skip? You know this. When somebody wants a player, what do? They move heaven and earth to get him. They do, you see everybody redoing it. Look what Kansas City's doing, Skip. Turn Patrick Mahomes' roster bonus into signing bonus. Mm-hmm. They did the same thing with Chris Jones. The same thing with Travis Kelce. Mm-hmm. That's what they do. So if a free agent, if a franchise quarterback were to become available, Skip, they try. You don't think they wanted Matthew Stafford? What did Matthew Stafford tell his general manager? I'll go anywhere. Just trade. No, I don't want to go there. So Andy Dalton, Cam Newton, Jameis Winston, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Mitchell Trubisky, Tyrod Taylor. I'm sure I left a few off, Skip. Options choices.
Okay.
They chose Cam.
All right. I'm back to my original question to you. The first option was to keep Tom Brady, but no, he didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
And you gave him 75% of the credit for the New England dynasty. He is the quote-unquote genius coach.
Right.
He plays Jedi mind tricks on everybody.
Yes.
He is the wizard, the manipulator. He's got plans. He's playing chess instead of checkers.
Yeah, he's
5 moves ahead of every other team.
Yeah.
I'm looking for plan B, then I'm looking for plan C, and I'm all the way down to plan Z right now because I don't see the plan. The number one plan you better have is your next quarterback is Stiddy? Is it Jared Stidham? Because that's what I kept telling you a year ago right now. Jared Stidham? Really? You're going to go forward? Is he your new diamond in the rough? Your 4th-round pick as opposed to the 6th-rounder Brady, who's going to be the next Tom Brady?
Skip, you covered this game long enough to know the backup always looks well until he has to play every down.
Okay, but he wasn't just a backup. Bill did, pluck him out of the diamond in the rough. He said, that kid can play, that Auburn kid. And I kept telling you, I liked him his first year at Auburn, but then his second year at Auburn, he came all apart. I liked him in his early days at Baylor. He's got talent. He does not have poise. He does not have consistent accuracy. And I think they came to the conclusion he is not the answer.
Right.
So when Cam became available as bargain basement, bottom of the bargain bin, sort of, yes, I'll come coach and play for $1 million, Bill said, yeah, I'll try Cam. And I think Bill liked Cam a lot. But he likes him a lot because to your point, his option is what? Okay, so they're out of the top 10 drafting. They're, what are they, 15th? Yeah, they got the 15th overall pick. So is Mac Jones going to fall? Well, if he falls to you, you probably go that route. Yeah. But I don't think he'll fall.
Skip, I think in order for them to move from 15 to where they need to get Mac Jones, he's going to have to probably slide somewhere to like 9 or 10.
Okay.
And then you can, but like you said, that's still going to cost you next year's first rounder.
Wonder if Dallas would trade their pick. Nah, I don't think so. They're 10. So the point is that I told you the last 2 days on this show that it's more of a cash splash than a true impact because it reeks of desperation. Because if you're going to plunge into the opening round of free agency, there are about 3 rounds of it. Yeah. And the first round is overpayment. And to your point, you have to because you're going to the top. You're going to the top, and they're going to command more money because that's the only way you're going to be able to win the auction for those players.
Because when you sign early, Skip, it's like a silent auction, Skip. There's a bunch of people in the room. You don't know who's raising that paddle. That guy might be over there. You can't see. So they got 3 or 4 teams. You're like, okay, I got him right here. He's like,
Okay, so it sounds good. It felt good for Patriot Nation, I'm sure. You loved it because you want to see Belichick climb back up to even Steven with Tom Brady, or at least a level playing field. And yet, the harder I looked at it, I kept saying, overpay. Are you sure? Are you sure? Okay, let's start with Cam. That was actually a great buy for him because he paid a backup quarterback salary to Cam Newton, who had his moments last year. Huh?
He gave backup quarterback money for a starter.
He did. And Cam had he had some great moments and some really low moments last year. So his QBR was 30th of 33 qualified quarterbacks. He had 8 touchdowns to 10 interceptions, and he ranked 26th in the league in what's called air distance. So he was not throwing it down the field the way Brady was with Bruce Arians' attack. And Pro Football Focus, your favorite website, says shaky accuracy and struggled to push the ball downfield. He ranked 26th of 32 qualifying quarterbacks in percentage of accurate passes thrown beyond the line of scrimmage. All that, not good, not great. So you did get him on the cheap again for a second straight year. So I'll give you that one. And then you did help him by giving him some weapons that Brady certainly didn't have in his last year, nor did Cam have in his first year, right? So then we start looking at the offensive line. no one's making a big deal out of it, but Joe Thuney was by far their best lineman because they franchise tagged him a year ago, and he is gone to Kansas City for huge money.
Huge money.
So that's got to leave some hole in your line because you can't replace him with somebody better than him,
Well,
right?
they did try for Trent Brown.
Okay.
It looks like David Andrews has balked at their offer. He looks like he's going to test the market.
Looks like he's going to go, and he was the center and the anchor of that line and the leader, the signal caller of the line.
Coach Belichick, what Coach Belichick did, Coach Belichick, his girlfriend left him, and what he did is went out and bought him a new car, got him a little condo.
Okay,
Just like, see what you left?
Okay.
You did all this. He's like, Brady, see what you could have had if you'd have just stayed.
All right, but the offensive line is maybe a little. I'll give you the Trent Brown. I give you that one. But now we look at the two tight ends. I like Hunter Henry a lot. I like Jonnu Smith. But remember, they have combined to make 0 Pro Bowls in their careers. So are we talking about Shannon Sharpe here? We're not talking about Shannon Sharpe.
But, Skip, I think the thing is that when you look at this offense, you remember they played what we call 12 personnel, which is 2 tight ends. They'll probably play a lot of that.
I got it.
2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, and a running back.
Okay, but we're not talking about Gronk and Aaron Hernandez here.
Well, I think the thing is, Skip, we didn't know Gronk was going to be Gronk coming out. We thought, the back injuries and Hernandez. I think Henry has every bit the ability. Now, Hernandez could have been really special.
Gronk and Aaron Hernandez, you're talking about 2 of the all-time biggest steals in the history of the draft.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
One was because of a back injury, and the other was because of real off-field, like big red flags.
But, Skip, they don't really need them to be Gronk. They just need them to can you give me more production than 5 catches? Can you give me more production than 55 yards? Can you give me more than that?
So your favorite website ranked Jonnu Smith last year as the 11th best tight end.
That ain't bad.
Hunter Henry is the 18th best tight end. Okay, it's not bad, but it's not like life-changing.
We'll combine those together, Skip.
Okay, Kendrick Bourne ranked 52nd among wide receivers. Okay, and I like him, but again, life change? I don't think so.
Look what he had throwing to him. Once Garoppolo got hurt, look who was throwing to him. Really?
Okay, I'll give you that. And then we go to Aguilar. He has his moments, but he was 6th in drops last year because he's a ball dropper, and he always has been. He's a little bit wild-handed. You just can't.
He's not a natural catcher of the football.
He's not a natural catcher. Can he run by? Yes, he can, and they don't have that. So, again, it's a little bit of desperation. But on the market, Emmanuel Sanders just went to Buffalo. I love Emmanuel Sanders. And again, can he run like? No, he can't. But you want to talk about skilled and savvy. And then Sammy Watkins is still out there. And I believe he can run with Aguilar.
Yeah, but Sammy
He's always hurt.
That's been his story, Skip.
Okay, and there's Kenny Golladay, but that was going to cost a lot of money, and I don't think he's going to be worth however much money. And so far, nobody has jumped.
Nobody's bitten. Correct.
And I'm not sure he's that much better than these. T.Y. Hilton is still on the market. So they're saying that Aguilar, you're overpaying for what you're the bang for your buck. Okay, so I get that one. Then we get to Matthew Judon. Again, I told you I like him a lot. He leaps off my TV screen. He passes the eye test. Well, they go 2nd, 3rd level stats, and they say that 51% of his pressures have been charted either as a cleanup or an unblocked pressure. They're going deep on this. And that was the 4th highest rate in the league. So as a result, over the last 4 years, they rank him the 41st among 76 edge rushers, which is not that great. Most of his production, says your favorite website, came courtesy of Baltimore's extraordinarily high blitz rate. They're blitzing, and it frees him up, and he gets a clean run at the quarterback, and he cashes in.
And when was Coach Belichick at his best? When that defense was giving up them few points. They was blitzing, playing man coverage.
So they're saying that he was overpaid due to his unproven ability to win one-on-one battles. Okay, I'm just saying you had to pay a lot of money for Matthew Judon, and it could pay off in your defense.
Skip, I'm not saying is he a Khalil Mack? Is he a Aaron Donald? No, but I think Coach Belichick can scheme it up. That's going to get him on a running back. That's going to get him free, and that's what the good coaches can do.
Okay, and then Jalen Mills. He's a quasi-safety slot corner. I'm not sure where they'll utilize him, but they got a lot of those guys. And your favorite website calls this perhaps the most puzzling of New England's moves. Not huge dollars, but fairly significant, and it's going to cut into your cap. And their bottom line is, wait a second, are you strapping yourself for the time that you can't acquire the quarterback, even if it's through the draft, where you're going to end up having to pay a Dak Prescott big money, and over time, you're going to have to pay the piper for overpaying all these these quote-unquote impact free agents to get back on track.
It's funny. I'm looking at my thing. It says the Patriots still have $37 million in cap space, which is the 5th most in the NFL, considering there are 32 teams. So if a franchise quarterback were to come available, do you think $37 million could be a great starting point?
Well, I don't know. Do they have that much available?
That's
after all these moves?
Yeah. But you know how Coach Belichick worked that thing?
Now I get it. Belichick saved up all that money that Brady saved him, and he just kept piling it up in the bank, and now he's spending it all.
He went and bought him a sports car. He got him a little bracelet.
Okay.
He got a makeover, Skip. He look at that Brady and say, now, call Brady and say, I see you in L.A. Meet me in L.A. in 2022.
Okay. So your favorite websites, bottom line is New England's big free agency spending is setting them up for quarterback purgatory.
Okay, Skip, let me ask you a question. Where's the free agent? They need to give me some guys that's going to become available that might be able, that New England would have been able to lure. Name the guy. They don't. And normally most teams, how do they acquire their franchise quarterback? They drafted him. Mm-hmm. If you look at all the top guys, with the most part, they drafted their guy. So Pro Football Focus, stop pretending like free agent quarterbacks are ultra life-changing. They normally are. They can change your life, Skip, but they're coming with baggage. Yep. Peyton Manning could not throw the ball 10 yards. Drew Brees had his arms go round and round in the socket. Tom Brady was 42, coming off year 20. And he didn't play particularly well, Skip. He had some great moments. He had some bad moments. But don't make it seem like this was Tom Brady coming off an MVP season that they got in year 10. Pro Football Focus, I need you to tell me, where's the guy that's going to be available that New England could possibly get? One guy said no, he didn't want to go there. Matthew Stafford, Skip. He said, I don't want to go to New England. So they ended up shipping him to the Rams. They did him that solid. So, Skip, at the end of the day, you could have $100 million in cap space. But if the franchise quarterback doesn't want to go there, I can't just I'm just going to hoard this money until somebody do. Okay. Until someone, does. I got to spend. Hopefully Cam reverts back. Hopefully he's not 30th in QBR. Hopefully he's not whatever he is at air distance. Okay. They gave him weapons now. Let's see.
Did New England get better? Absolutely, and obviously they got better.
I can't tell, not by Pro Football. They didn't get better.
Well, they had to get better because they were 7-9 last year.
Okay, then.
And yet, did they get contender better? No, they did not.
Are they playoff?
Are they being overrated? Yes, they are.
They're going to the playoffs. We already got cases to do on that.
We got lots of cases.
Yeah, they're going to the playoffs.
Okay, that's fine.
You keep talking, I'm going to bet they're going to have a better record than Tampa if you keep talking.
Well, you should go there because you're going to lose.
Because you ticking me off by talking about Coach Belichick and the job that he's done.
I might have to buy me a lake to fill up with Diet Mountain Dew.
That's okay. Yep. I'm going to drain it and put it back in my pool and my lake.
You need a lake of Hennessy. That's what you need.
Well,
we don't need
but you already said they're a playoff team. Are they going to the playoff?
Are they going to the playoffs?
Yes.
Again, to me, that I told you the X factor. I don't know about Tua. Is he the starting quarterback for the Dolphins? Your man, Tua, if he's the starting quarterback for the Dolphins all 16 games next year, yes, they're going to the playoffs.
They can start whomever they want. Yeah. Coach Belichick ain't missing the playoffs 2 years in a row. Well, that's not happening.
Okay, well, they're not winning the AFC East.
That's like Goat James. Okay. You think Goat James will miss the playoffs 2 years in a row right now?
Well, would Goat James win the AFC East next year?
Oh, Goat James.
Okay.
You know Goat James to win the AFC East. Yep. He's doing the whole East, the AFC, not just the East. He win the AFC.
Okay, I don't know exactly how LeBron got brought into this. I know you guys feel about the Patriots right now. I need to know how you feel about the situation in Chicago because the Chicago Bears made their first major acquisition of the offseason, signing Andy Dalton to a one-year, $10 million deal with an additional $3 million in incentives. This came after Chicago reportedly made an aggressive effort to go after Russell Wilson, but was met with resistance by Seattle. So, Shannon, what are the Bears doing here?
Skip, they tried. Skip, the article and the report said they made an aggressive offer. You know what an aggressive offer is? That probably at least 3 first-round draft picks. So how do you think the fans should react? Man, we're in the running for Russ. We think we might get Russ. Breaking news, the bottom of your screen. Andy Dalton signed with the Bears. What the hell? How we go from Russ to Andy Dalton? We supposed to be happy about that, Skip? But I mean, we had a chance to get Russ, and now we stuck with Nick Foles and Andy Dalton. And I'm supposed to be happy about that. Skip, all you can do is put down your best offer. Skip, if you go to buy a house, you put your best offer. If the owner says, no, I don't want to sell the house, there's nothing you can do. Right now, Seattle says, nah, Russell is not for sale. We're not trading him. I don't know what else you want them to do. Are they supposed to just go into the season with one quarterback? Yes, if I'm the fan base, I'm disappointed because I would rather have Russell Wilson and Nick Foles and Andy Dalton. But I don't really know what else the Bears can do. You make an offer. You make the best offer. You try and blow them away. Okay, did they say 3 first-rounders and you could take Hicks or you can take Khalil Mack? Did they throw that in there, Skip? Did you say you get Fuller or could you get the Roquan Smith? Okay, what you want? We give you 3 first-rounders and any starter we got. See, I was like, nah, we good. So I don't really know what else. I don't know what else the Bears could have done. I don't know what the Bears fan base want them to do. They went after it, both feet. They jumped on this deal with both feet. And you know what Seattle did? Seattle had them all agree. They did it to Jerry. Had them like, okay, well, what about 2 first-rounders? Okay, what about 2 first-rounders starter? What about 3 first-rounders? Chicago said, yeah. Jerk the word right out from under them, Skip. So I don't really know what else the Bears could have done. If they said, Skip, 3 first-rounders and any starter on our team, Skip, I don't know if you can get a better deal than that because you had your choice of Hicks, who's a Pro Bowl D-tackle, Khalil Mack, who's a premier, the top 5 defender in all of football, or you could take Roquan Smith, who's an up-and-coming middle line. But you got KJ and Bobby, so you don't want him. But Khalil Mack and Hicks, do you want one of those guys? I'm sure they probably say you could have one of them. Seattle say, nah, we good.
So, my turn. I worked in Chicago for 4 years, columnist at Chicago Tribune. I have a lot of friends there. I've known a lot of Bears fans in my life. I would like to announce to them right here, right now, you got took over all this. You got duped. You got spun. Because, they made an aggressive offer for a Russell Wilson who, this is just me, I believe Seattle will not trade. It's just, it's insane to trade Russell Wilson. He's too good. Right. I know they're at odds right now, and they're trying to sort of
mend the fences.
Yeah, right. And they're also trying to regain their leverage with him, sort of put him back in his place, and he's trying to put them in their place, and he wants more input, just like Deshaun. I get all that. He's going nowhere. It would cost them $39 million in Seattle in dead cap money to trade Russell Wilson. Why would they do that? Because they're going to replace him with
what?
I don't know. Mitchell Trubisky?
Well, they should start doing it like baseball and basketball. Like the team could also give you some, pay half of the salary or pay some of that like basketball, Skip. Okay, you got $28 million salary. We'll kick in 14.
Okay. Because in the end, what the Bears were doing was very sly, very skillful in PR because they're sending a strong message to their fandom. We tried so hard. We made an aggressive offer for somebody who was unattainable. We went in with both feet for somebody who was unattainable because they knew they were stuck. Because just like you talked about, Belichick, what's his option? They don't have an option. They have the 20th overall pick. Does Seattle want the 20th overall? No, they don't. What are you going to do with that? Do they want every Bears first-round pick for the next 5 years? It's like, and we're going to do what at quarterback? Nothing. They have to have a viable option in Seattle, or they're not going to listen to this. So they were stuck, and they went for another quarterback like Tyrod Taylor. Andy Dalton, what I've told my Chicago friends is, the best thing I can say about him is he's not bad.
Right.
Andy Dalton is not bad. Well, that's damning with faint praise because that's pretty much what he is, not bad.
Yeah, but Skip, it's kind of like you go out to a nice restaurant, you order chicken breast. Yes, it's good for you. It's not bad, but damn, that's what he's chicken breast, Skip.
Okay, I got it. He's now 33 years of age. He's been around a long time. He's played 10 seasons. In those first 5, as I said 1,000 times on this show, he averaged 10 wins a year. His first 5 years in Cincinnati, he made 3 Pro Bowls, and they made the playoffs 4 times. They lost all 4 playoff games, and he was 1 touchdown to 6 interceptions in the post. But he got them there 4 times. And last year, he had his moments. He threw 14 touchdowns to 8 interceptions for my Cowboys. His QBR was not very good. It was 54, which ranked 25th out of 33 qualified. Not very good. And when I really needed him to rise and shine, he just wasn't capable. He's just not that guy.
Right.
But for his career, he's 218 touchdowns to 126 interceptions, which is not bad.
Yeah, that's good.
Right?
Yeah.
He's viable. You can start him and he won't embarrass you. He just won't. And this is just from my Chicago friends. could we just see those 2 throws that he made in his first action with the Dallas Cowboys in the Giants game after Dak, unfortunately, had gone down? This is late in the game. They're in trouble, and Andy Dalton rolled out and threw a rope to Michael Gallup for a huge first down and came right back behind it by throwing this one right down the chimney to Michael Gallup to set up the game-winning walk-off field goal. Those are, okay, that's who he is. He's capable. He can do this. He can do that. He can run a little bit. He's fairly athletic.
Yeah.
He's not bad. But you're still sitting on a Mitchell Trubisky for whom you traded 2/3 and a 1/4 to move up 1 spot from 3rd to 2nd in that draft, the Myles Garrett draft.
This is 5th-year option. They didn't pick that up, though, Skip. Is he still there?
Okay, well, he can be there if you want him.
No, we don't want him.
Okay, so
they don't want him.
Think about this. Mitchell Trubisky is another one who's not bad because he's 29 and 21 as their starter.
Right.
And that 1 year in 2018, I remind you, he made the Pro Bowl. He had the 3rd best QBR in football. Well, that's really not bad. He's 64 touchdowns to 37 interceptions. I did not like him going into the draft because I watched him several times at North Carolina.
Right.
He just never did it for me. He never caught my eye.
Right.
But you know and I know, he's fairly athletic. He's fairly mobile.
Yeah.
He's got a nice arm. But there's something missing, and they keep telling you there's something missing because they keep trying to replace him.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And Skip, it might not be so bad had he not been in the draft with Mahomes and Deshaun.
Well, and it's just such a killer to look at what Ryan Pace didn't do because Andy Reid traded up to the 10th spot to take Patrick Mahomes, who's the best young quarterback in football.
Right.
And the Texans traded up to the 12th spot to take Deshaun Watson, who's the 2nd best young quarterback in pro football.
Yeah.
And wait a second, Ryan Pace, GM of the Bears, you traded up 1 spot to take Mitchell Trubisky, and I believe both of us said, what are you doing?
You could have stayed right where you were and got Mitchell Trubisky.
And that's not going to get you anywhere anyway.
Exactly.
Right? But
you ended up trading what, a 1st-round pick the next year.
Okay, so it's almost like a fireable offense to me to look at this for Ryan Pace and say, how did you swing and miss on Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson?
Right.
Because I did not know Patrick. I watched him at Texas Tech, but I couldn't see this.
No, I didn't either.
I just couldn't see this. I saw Deshaun.
Everybody saw it.
I was on record because he went up against St. Nick's Alabama defense in 2 national championship games, and they could not stop him.
No.
And he barely lost one, and then he wins the other one to Hunter Renfrow at the buzzer to pull it off.
Yeah.
Well, you could just see.
Yes.
That's special.
Yeah.
Okay, how could Ryan Pace not see special in Deshaun Watson? Well, then you don't deserve to keep your job.
Well, you talk yourself out of it, Skip.
Okay.
You look at a kid, and Trubisky is more prototypical, Skip, 6'4", 6'4.5", 235 pounds. I mean, you look at Deshaun's frame. All I know is that he played on the biggest stage in the biggest games, and he won.
And he played at such a high level.
Skip, he
you could
won.
just watch him compete.
Yeah. And so for me, I agree with you. I didn't understand it. You take a guy in the same conference as Deshaun who never beat Deshaun.
Okay. Yeah.
But Skip, that's when you overthink it. I found that diamond in the rough, the guy nobody thought.
Okay, you better be right. Because as you know, quarterback is everything in your sport. Everything. You either have one or you don't. You either have a chance or you do not.
Right.
And in this case, in all my years of covering sports and experiencing different fandoms, the Chicago Bears fandom is the most pessimistic single fandom in all of sports that I have experienced. But they deserve to be pessimistic because since the 1985 Chicago Bears,
I mean, think about
this. They haven't had anything to really write home about.
Jim McMahon is the 2nd best quarterback behind Sid Loveland.
Yeah, he is.
And so, I mean, that's not saying, Skip, the Bears go back a long, long time with Papa Bear, Mr. Coach Alice.
Yeah.
And think about all the quarterbacks from that time until now. And Jim McMahon is the 2nd best.
Yeah. And we've come all the way to 2021. That was 1985. And still the biggest stars in Chicago are the members of the 85 Bears, starting with Mike Ditka and Mike Singletary, and you know them all.
Yeah, the Bears, the defense.
Jim McMahon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Walter Payton was on that. Walter Payton was on that team. But Skip, I don't really know what else the Bears could do. Skip, and if I mention Trubisky, do you want to go back there, Skip? Here's a situation like Carson Wentz. They traded for Nick Foles, and they put up a competition. And now they flirted with Russell Wilson, tried to get him. Why the hell I want to go back there, Skip? Y'all don't want me. How many times does somebody say, no, we don't want you, no. They done tried to divorce you twice. And you still gonna ask them to remarry you again?
No mercy.
Well, after the Cowboys crossed a Dak Prescott extension off their to-do list, there was hope they would be aggressive to kick off free agency, despite recent reputation for refusing to spend big money on free agents. Dallas has quite a few holes to fill, notably on defense. But according to the Dallas Morning News' Kelvin Watkins, Dallas has shown they don't know how to utilize cap space, adding, quote, even if the Cowboys had $100 million in salary cap space, trusting the right moves would occur is shaky. So, Shannon, who's most to blame for this?
Who wants all the credit? Who's front and center every time there's a camera or a microphone? Who's the first person to speak?
Stephen Jones?
Yeah. It's Jerry Jones. Yeah. Skip, look, Jerry's hit about 4 times in free agency, and we're going on almost 30 years. 1993 was the first year that we had free agency as we know it. Dion, he hit it out the park.
All-timer.
I believe T.O., he hit it out the park. Didn't win him a championship, but T.O. was great. All-Pro Pro Bowls. Skip, Leroy Glover played extremely well, went to Pro Bowls. And Big Leonard Davis, 3 straight Pro Bowls from 07 to 09. But after that, duds. Skip, every free agent he signed last year, he cut. Skip, how you cut every single free agent that you signed, you release. Some you release before the season. A couple of them you traded. He traded the guy that he got from Everson Griffin. Yep. Skip, it's Jerry, this is all Jerry. And Skip, what you told me yesterday, your mom said, you get what you pay for.
Yep.
Well, he keep trying to penny pinch. Now, I get it, Skip. Jerry will pay his own. Guys that he drafts, they play well, he'll pay them. I love that about Jerry. But Skip, Jerry is mistaken if he thinks the players are fans. Oh, man, everybody want to play with that star. They want to play, everybody. No, Jerry. Guys want to get paid. And if you're not going to pay them what they can get somewhere else, they gone. Now, I get it, Skip. I was at the Pro Bowl all those years. The most popular helmet was the Dallas Cowboys. Everybody tried to. Skip, you might be an all-pro skill player, and you trying to trade with the Dallas Cowboy punter kicker because you want that helmet. The Raiders are number 2. But Skip, Jerry's been penny pinching. You know that. He's trying to sign guys that for $3 million and $4 million and $5 million, and that just won't cut it. He paid top dollar for all those other guys, didn't he, Skip? He paid Dion. Dion reset the market for the cornerback.
Worth every penny.
Yeah, T.O. got top. They're like, man, ain't nobody gonna sign T.O. I mean, he just wore out his welcome in Philly. Guess what? Jerry said, I want him. Same thing with Leroy Glover and Leonard Davis. So Jerry is responsible for this, and Jerry thinks everybody, like the fans, America's team, they want to play for America's team. No, they don't. They want to get paid, Jerry.
So, at the press conference last week announcing the signing of Dak, Dak versus Jerry, they're finally reunited, sitting side by side. Jerry kept driving home the point, we now have money to spend. And I guess I should be horrified by that prospect that they do have money to spend, because they never spend it wisely. At least they don't overspend, but they don't. They acquire nobody of any impact, except for your guys that you mentioned. Here's the flip side of this. The reason I'm not going to condemn my owner and operator, Jerry Jones, is that from 2010 to 2020, that decade of drafting, the Dallas Cowboys drafted, or in one, I'll get to it in a second, or acquired the second most Pro Bowlers to the Kansas City Chiefs. They're mostly drafted, except Amari also made Pro Bowls, obviously, in there. But that was a trade. So it wasn't a free agent acquisition. You had to trade your first-round pick for him. So I'll consider that almost like drafting Amari, because you said, well, he's worth a first-round pick. So Raiders.
Do you have to give up 2 first-round picks to get him, or you swap?
Just one. Just straight up. And is he worth it?
Yeah.
Not at home. Not on the road, but yes, he's worth it. In the end, he was worth that. And Jerry thought he was so worth it, they gave him $21 million to stay. when Washington won it.
Is it worth it?
$21 million? No receiver in this market's going to get anywhere near that, I don't think.
No.
I could be wrong. Okay, so it's mixed emotions for me because how good is it to draft the second most Pro Bowlers over a decade?
Mm-hmm.
What do I have to show for it? I have, over that decade, 3 playoff wins and obviously 0 NFC Championship game appearances.
Right.
I didn't even get to one NFC Championship game with all those Pro Bowlers. Whose fault is that? Well, it's because the defense never could measure up to the offense because Jerry's all about box office.
Right.
So you've got splashy, flashy quarterback play, but you don't have enough defensive backbone to measure up to it to get you home.
Right.
That's what happened. Because remember what happened against Aaron Rodgers after they went 13-3 in Dak and Zeke's rookie year? They fall behind 21-0 before I can even get my popcorn ready, right?
Skip, but Jerry should know, Skip, even though they had the big name, the triplets, they had Mike, they had Troy, they had Emmett. Skip, that defense was relentless.
Hellacious.
I mean, come on, Jerry, you know that. You still having 6, 7 guys from the defense going to the Pro Bowl.
And Jerry made 2 great acquisitions, but the first one was Charles Haley. That put them over the top on defense. Flat out unblockable coming off the edge.
Charles is in the Hall of Fame.
For a reason.
Thank you.
And he's got the most...
5. He got 5 Super Bowl rings.
Whew.
Brady passed him 6 and 7.
Okay, so I look at this list, and I thought last year I was sitting here raving about these signings.
You were.
Because I thought, Clinton Dix had played for McCarthy, and I thought, okay, I'll take that. He's better than anything I got at safety. I love Gerald McCoy, and remember, he tore his triceps.
Quad.
A quad, tore his quad. But he was gone immediately, and I welcome him back this year. I don't know what his status is going to be. But the point is, Dontari Poe was a bust. It was just a big swing and miss as sort of a anchor run stopper. And they tried Everson Griffin, as you talked about, and they traded him away, Darryl Worley, Brandon Carr. Every one of those guys had been elsewhere and been successful elsewhere, and they all mutinied against the new DC Mike Nolan. So it was such a midseason mutiny that Jerry just said, okay, I'm going to wipe them all out. And he cut or got rid of every last one of his free agent signees. So they had 0 impact last year.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Well,
but if you go back, Skip, with the exception of the 4 that I mentioned, all of his free agent signees had 0 impact.
Yeah. Greg Zuerlein, I'll take as a plus.
Okay.
Because that works. That upgraded that position. He's fairly trustable. I thought Blake Bell was pretty good last year. Again, not life-changing.
But, Skip, you know in free agency, Skip, you got to pay in free agents.
Remember, Randall Cobb was decent for a year, and then he took the money and ran to Houston. I got that. But he was decent. That was not a butt. That wasn't a swing and a miss.
But that's what I'm telling you, Skip. The notion that Jerry has this perception. We're America's team. Everybody want to pay for the Cowboys. Guys want to get paid. If you're not paying, okay, that's fine and good. Cowboys, that's nice, pretty cool. You're going to be on TV. Skip, I don't want to get paid. And Jerry, for some reason, with the exception of a handful of guys, he's not willing to pay that kind of money. Give him credit. He will pay the guys that he drafted and perform for him. He will pay them. But, Skip, in order to get free agents, you know you got to spend.
So Calvin Watkins did a great job of just going back to recent history of the free agent signees. George Iloka, Coney Ealy, Deontay Thompson, Byron Bell, Nolan Carroll, DeMontre Moore, all the way back to Greg Hardy, which I just railed.
I got me a couple of cases. Off you of that George Iloka because you said he was going to start, and I told you the guy he starts in the Raiders now.
That was a rare connection.
I got a couple of cases.
Rare victory for you. I will agree, and I don't know what happened to him, but then the last one is obviously Andy Dalton for a year. You'd have to say that was okay. It got you through the night, right?
Right. But the other guy, Skip, with Deion, let's take Deion out of the equation because anybody else that would have signed Deion was going to do his thing. Deion is a tier 1 corner. He's by himself. He's the best that ever played that position. So we're going to take him off the table.
That was just Jerry setting his sights on something, saying, I will not be denied. That was super salesmanship and deep pocket.
And he knew. I can't let him go back to San Francisco. I've got to outbid everybody.
And by the way, that was the first time I experienced voidable years, where it was a longer term deal, and the big hit up front was the big bonus. It got spread out.
Because when you look, that's what you need, Skip. You know, hey, we do a 5, 6 year deal. really a 3-year deal with the last 3 voidable, but guess what? We're going to prorate that signing bonus over 6 years. So
I believe that was the first time anybody had utilized that loophole, and Jerry leaped through it with both feet first.
Exactly.
To get Dion. Okay, so I give you all that. But now I'm sitting here waiting, Jerry. I'm waiting.
So
there's nothing.
Who you blaming for all these free agents misses?
You have the buck stops on that desk.
That's what he said.
Gerald Wayne Jones Jr.
Yes.
The buck stops there. He signs off on all these.
Yes.
I don't think a lot of times he knows who these people are, but he tries to get up to speed and then says yes or no.
Yeah. And he said, I do a lot of consulting, but I got the final say.
Yeah.
He's like, we sit around the table. He's like, what y'all think? I just want to know what you guys think. I've already made my decision, but I just want to know what you guys thinking.
Okay, but on draft night, it's been pretty good.
Right.
Okay, so again,
he's signing off on Will McClay. Jerry ain't watching no tape. Kevin, you know good well owners ain't watching no tape of no players.
Well, I just want to have a tape of a Cowboys Super Bowl. That's what I want.
You got a tape. Go back to 92, 93, 95. Yeah. You got a tape. Or you go back to the 70s.
No mercy. Well, after Drew Brees, the Saints franchise quarterback of 15 years, announced his retirement, New Orleans brought Jameis Winston back on a 1-year, $12 million deal. Winston spent last season learning under Brees with the hope of taking over. The Saints also have Taysom Hill on the roster to compete with him. And yesterday, Sean Payton said that although New Orleans is set at the quarterback position, both Winston and Hill will compete for the starting spot, and neither currently has a leg up in the competition. So, Shannon, how do you like the Saints' new quarterback situation right now?
Well, it is what it is, Skip. Obviously, they're not Drew Brees. Drew Brees is one of the all-time great quarterbacks, so clearly they're not that. And they're going to miss the ability. Drew Brees and Sean Payton thought they've been around each other for so long, Skip. They actually probably thought alike. And a lot of the plays that Drew was thinking in certain situations, Sean was thinking the very same thing. Now Sean's going to have to do a little bit more coaching now. A little bit more coaching. Because Jameis is extremely talented, but there are some things that Sean Payton needs to correct, needs to fix, mainly the turnovers. Now, I just don't know what I'm going to get from Taysom Hill, Skip. I haven't seen him play the quarterback position where you just open it up and says, okay, son, the keys to the car is yours. Just don't wreck it.
Yep.
So I think he's better suited for the role that he's served in the last 2 to 3 years, which is a jack of all things. He'll throw it, he'll catch it, he'll run it, block. I just don't see a scenario in which he beats Jameis out for this job. Skip, but they're still in contender mode, Skip. There ain't no rebuild. This ain't no rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Payton don't strike me as a guy that rebuilds.
No.
He wants to reset.
Yep.
And says, okay, we still have Mike Thomas. We have Alvin Kamara. We still got guys on the defensive side, Lattimore and Cam Jordan and DeMario Davis. So, hey, I expect us to compete, Malcolm Jenkins. I expect us to compete at a very high level and contend for this thing. But, Skip, they got their work cut out for them. Tom Brady smells blood in the water. He's like, man, look here. The band is back together.
Yep.
I got more hits. He's like, we're not going to be like the Beatles. We're not going to get all greedy and somebody this and we go our separate ways. And, yeah, we make music apart, but it was never like we made it when we were together. So he kept that thing together. So he's trying to get – Tom Brady tried to fill out his hands. Then what he tried to do, Skip?
Go for 10.
He tried to fill out his hand. So when he looked down his hand, like, I got a ring on every finger.
And
that's
thumbs.
All of it. He want all that. Look like LA. And then who knows? He might like, hey, I might try to catch Mr. Russell. But Skip, they got their work cut out for him. You have to do it like this because let everybody compete. Hell, you're in the NFL. You've been competing all your life. That's how you get to where you got. Some guys compete harder and can do it better than others. But hey, you got to compete for this thing. Sean said, I ain't handing it to neither one of you. You get this job, you're going to earn it. And I'm going to know because I know what I'm looking for. So if Jameis wins his job, I say by the first preseason game, Jameis had this thing locked up.
You could be right, but I don't think you are. So if I were asked to rank the Saints quarterback situation, their new situation on scale 1 to 10, I would give it a 5. And the reason for this is I think Sean Payton loves Taysom Hill. I think he likes Jameis. And obviously, to your point, Jameis is the better overall. He's just a better fit as a starting quarterback in the National Football League than Taysom Hill. But remember, Sean Payton has trumpeted Taysom Hill as a starting quarterback in the National Football League. So, to me, what's the oldest cliche in football? If you have two quarterbacks, you have none.
Right.
You have no quarterback. And
well, if that was the case, Skip, he should just go ahead and name Taysom Hill the starter. If he believes so much in Taysom Hill, say that's the starter.
Okay, here's the problem with both of these players. They're both turnover machines because Jameis has been since college. We know that at Florida State, and you always say turnovers in college, turnovers in pro.
Yep.
And it's just who he is.
Yeah.
He's also hugely gifted.
Yes.
To me, he's more athletic than you give him credit for. He has a strong arm, and he has big guts. And teams will follow his leadership. They want to go into battle with and for Jameis. Taysom Hill was turning over like crazy in a small sample size last year. He had 7 turnovers. He will fumble the football. He'll try to do too much and get dislodged. He also completed 73% of his passes in a small sample size last year, but 73%, if he had qualified, that wins the competition.
I think
highest in the league.
I think some of those throws is coming when he's taking the ball and he's...
You can obviously...
that wasn't all at the quarterback position.
Okay. So the point is, I read a quote from Sean Payton in Jared Bell's column today in USA Today, and he was raving about Taysom Hill and said one of the things that he's provided is that, man, you knew on any given play he was a threat to make something happen. That's what Sean Payton loves about him.
No, make something happen with his feet, not with his arm.
Okay. And yet there were times, Payton went on to say, on any given play, he was also a threat to make something happen that you weren't happy about.
Right.
Okay, so that's the problem with both of
those guys, correct.
Okay? In very different ways.
Right.
So he goes on about Taysom Hill. This caught my eye and ear. He reminded me of early Tony Romo's career. When he went into a game, something's going to happen. So I think ball security will be something we spend a lot of time with him on because something was always going to happen with Romo, and a lot of about half of it.
That's how he got the name Tony.
That is correct. That's what I believe I nicknamed him that. So the point is, he's enamored of Taysom Hill because he plucked him off the waiver wire. Remember, Green Bay had him. He was undrafted out of BYU, but it's BYU.
BYU, the quarterback.
So undrafted. And they kept him to the final cut, and then they cut him, and within minutes it seemed like Sean Payton jumped all over it and said, I'll take him and I'll show you. What does Payton like to do the most? He likes to say, I'm the smartest man in the room.
Right.
NFL, watch this. Watch what I do.
Tim Tebow could have been that before Taysom Hill, Skip.
That is correct. So this is sort of a Tebow-esque situation, but I'm not convinced he wants to just hand the job to Jameis. I think he's going to give Taysom Hill every chance to win this job because that makes him look better. Jameis was the first pick in the draft, so it's hard to say, well, I fixed him or I made him great.
First pick in the draft, undrafted free agent. First pick.
Okay, so that's who Sean Payton is. And in the end, for me, advantage Buccaneers.
It doesn't matter who starts the quarterback. The Buccaneers have an advantage, Skip. But I just look at it like this. Both of these guys will need to take care of the football. We know Jameis. We've just seen a small sample size of Taysom Hill, but in that small sample size, he turned. It's kind of like Jalen Hurts, Skip. It was a small sample size, but he was a turnover machine in that small sample size. And so the question is, can you, same with Jameis, can you teach them ball security? I understand, guys. Look, sometimes, guys going to get in there and they're going to take the ball. But we can't give them every time you get hit, the ball's on the ground. Or we can't have you in negative and plus territory turning the ball over. We got to come away with points. And that's going to be something that Sean Payton emphasized because that's what hurt him in the play. It was the 4 turnovers that doomed him.
I will give you this on Taysom Hill. He's a more talented Tebow because he's more athletic. He can do more things. I'm not saying his intangible package is stronger because it's probably not. I just haven't seen enough of him to know. But boy, he's made a lot of big plays, but he seems to be better when he's the gadget guy.
Right.
When he just comes in for one play. And it's hard to do this because, as you well know, if you just get thrown into the action and then you got to perform, you got one shot, well, he takes advantage of it.
And he plays all the special teams. Skip. He has to, plus he has to know, okay, I got to know this route. I got to know I got to run the ball. I got to block for the ball. Oh, I'm playing quarterback in this series. So they put a lot on his plate. I just think he'd be better served in that situation. And I don't see how, just like last year, I felt that And the advantage that Jameis has that Cam didn't have, Skip, Jameis has a year of this system under his belt. Cam was coming in, 2 weeks, 3 weeks before camp started?
He was.
Fresh.
Yep. I got a sneaky suspicion here. This is going to be a mix and match situation where he plays both of them, even to
you're
the
gonna be
point
terrible then.
of alternating. Once upon a time in Denver, you watched two quarterbacks.
Sean Moore and Tommy Maddox, yeah. And you was around for the Cowboys when they did Craig Morton and Roger Staubach.
It does not work.
It does not work.
Yep. Well, we'll see. But Sean might say, watch this. I'll make it work.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of, guys bringing in the play, but not the quarterbacks. Quarterback coming in, hey, next thing you know, the play over, he trotting out the field, here come another quarterback. I'm like, I wonder if anybody else think this thing look really bush league to have your quarterbacks bringing in the plays.
True.
No mercy. LeBron James has made no secret of his goal to one day own an NBA team. Yesterday, it was announced that he is now a part owner of the Boston Red Sox after he joined the Fenway Sports Group as a partner. But after the Lakers win over the Wolves last night, he said his goal is still the same, saying, quote, I know what it takes to win at this level. I know talent. I also know how to run a business as well. And so that is my goal. My goal is to own an NBA franchise, and it will be sooner than later. So, Shannon, how significant was this?
Well, it's very significant, Skip, and he's made it abundantly clear, Skip, for a very long time now. That's his goal. That's his aspiration. Not only, to play in this league at a very high level, but he wants to be an ownership group. He's positioned himself. Now, by the time LeBron is able to own a team, every team's going to be worth upwards of $2 billion. And so even as much money as LeBron made, he knows he's going to have partners. And he's positioned himself. It was reported, they have $7 billion in holdings. So the FSG, the Red Sox, Liverpool, Roush Fenway Racing, and Nesson. So
New England Sports Network.
Skip, he's positioned himself in perfect position to be able to have the backing. Because minorities, okay, what better minority to have the face of a franchise and to be in business with than that guy? So he understands what he's doing. LeBron James, everything is very, very calculated with him. He's just not, everybody's like, well, I thought he liked the Yankees. Well, the Yankees weren't available for him to buy into. So you know what? He took the next best thing. He took the Red Sox.
There is some irony involved there.
It is.
But again, he's involved with Liverpool and everybody because they have tentacles out everywhere.
Right.
He's just part of the Fenway Sports Group, which is a subsidiary of that Redbird Investments that you talk about with those holdings.
So what happens?
Major players.
Yeah. So what happens when a basketball team becomes available? Now
you've got the backing.
You got the backing, and that's. Hey, I'd love to see us have. Maybe he can get involved, and they want to get a football team at some point in time.
Maybe.
And Skip. If basketball's for $2 billion, football. Mr. Richardson sold his team for $2.5 billion. It's probably going to be $3 billion. The price, sports franchise, Skip, they ain't losing money.
Yep.
They're going up in value, and he's positioned himself in a very good spot to be able to say in another 5 years. I don't know how long he wants to play. Say 5 to 10 years. If one of these things become available, LeBron James is going to get it.
So you know how I feel about LeBron off the court when it comes to crusading for social, racial justice. He's the GOAT.
Yep.
When it comes to investing, to becoming a mogul, while he's a superstar player, he is the GOAT. There's never been anything quite like him.
Right.
Obviously, Michael Jordan had the sneakers, and he's just unchallenged in that area.
Yeah, nobody's going to be able to catch him.
It's got to be the shoes, and it just is.
Yeah.
So, as LeBron said last night after the game, it's going to happen sooner than later. And this was a huge, significant first step toward that, because to all your points, he has now positioned himself to pull this off very soon after he decides to call it quits as a player. And I am here to tell you that I don't think he'll be just a good owner. I think he'll be a great one.
I do too.
Because I think he wants to be an owner/operator, just the way Jordan has been in Charlotte.
Right.
But I've said this from the start, and you know how much I love Michael Jordan as a player, and he is the player GOAT. It's not even close.
It is close. It is close.
As an owner-operator, he has been a disaster, the all-time worst, because he's been running that franchise now for 14 seasons. They've made the playoffs 3 times. Twice they got swept. Once in 2016, they went to 7 games against the Heat but lost. So he's 3-12 in the postseason with only 3 appearances.
Right.
LeBron will be way better than that.
Right.
Michael was just so all-time gifted that it's hard for him to see who can and can't play.
Right.
LeBron plays a very different game than Michael plays.
He does.
He plays a cerebral game. He plays it as much with his mind as his body. Not that Michael didn't have high basketball IQ, because he did, but LeBron thinks it and sees it and can sort of go out of body to see it unfold and be a couple of moves ahead of you. Jordan was just raw talent and just killer will. I'm going to do this.
Right.
I'm going to will this ball in on my 18-foot turnaround jumper, and it's just going to go in whether you like it or not. I'm going to will my team to this championship whether you like it or not, and I don't care what you think of me. LeBron plays a very different game sort of on and off the court. Well, his game will adapt to ownership much better than Michael's has. Now, to Michael's credit, LaMelo ball has fallen out of heaven into his lap, and it's working. They're 20-18 now, so voila.
We're in the 6th spot, right?
5th seed.
5th seed, okay.
5th seed. And since LaMelo has been a starter, which is the last 18 games, he's averaging 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists. That will work.
Right.
He is shooting 44%. LaMelo is from 3.
He's the reason why Lonzo playing well.
85. I believe that. I think you're right.
Lonzo said, you ain't finna come here, little baby bro, and show me up.
Hey,
let me get on my game.
Lonzo looks like a totally different
different player, Skip.
Because he has fixed his shot.
Skip, when you look at Michael and you look at LeBron, LeBron has diversified his portfolio. Jordan was sneakers on the basketball team, and that's really it. Now, he kind of got in the car racing, him and Denny Hamlin. But if you look at LeBron portfolio, because when Jordan played, Jordan only portfolio was shoes. He didn't do anything else. He just had the shoes.
Well, that's enough.
Yeah, I'm just saying. But LeBron is, Blaze Pizza and, Beats headphone and, Liverpool and now this, so he's placed himself.
Spring Hill Entertainment is dominating Hollywood right now.
Yes. So he's positioned himself. But Skip, it's not easy. When you're great, when you're taught everything that you did, you make it look easy. And what you can't understand is why somebody can't do what you did, why they can't do it. That's what Magic was telling us. Skip, he's like, man, why you can't make that pass? He's like, Urban, they not you. That's the hardest thing, Skip. That's why so many great players, they don't succeed at coaching, and they definitely don't succeed at. Jerry West is really the anomaly, Skip. A great player that could pick players.
Yep, I agree.
But most of the time, Skip, they be picking.
It's just rare. It's just rare. LeBron will be that. We see him pick his all-star teams. He's been very good.
You see that? You see what he do, Skip? Did you see last night?
I don't really want to talk about some silly game.
Don't do that.
Hold
on, Skip. Don't do that, Skip. A triple-double in 31 minutes. Now, you see, you talking about, LeBron, why are you playing 38? Why are you playing 40
minutes? I would like
minutes?
to finish on something that really matters, and I would like to give the tip of the cap to one Maverick Carter, because LeBron is so blessed to have his longtime friend Maverick as his partner in everything that he does. Because, listen, I know Maverick. He is a powerhouse of a power broker on both Wall Street and in Hollywood, and LeBron can trust him every minute of every day to do the right thing.
That's the thing, Skip. Ooh. You got to have a team. He has a great team, from Rich Paul, his agent, to Randy Mims, who handles his day-to-day operation, to Maverick Carter, to handle all things, like you said, the Wall Street, the Hollywood aspect of it. I handle that. He just focuses on, Savannah handles the house. He just focused on basketball. That's why he's about to be the 5-time MVP. 5-time MVP of the regular. You know that?
He's about to back into it.
No, just Skip. Don't do it. Why would you do that? Why would you even say that?
We're having a nice conversation about something that really counts off the court.
So 5-time MVP, 5 Finals MVP. That's not gonna count.
It's by default. It's okay. This thing off the floor, it's not by default.
It's not very. Skip, Jordan ain't finna be the only 6-time MVP, final 6 times champion. We're gonna be an ownership group with that resume too.
Yep. Maybe it's about time to segue on into your second life, right?
No. We got to get them 40,000.
Oh, okay.
Skip, did you know we about to be top 10 in 3-pointers made? We about to be top 10 three-pointers made. Top 10.
Well, if you keep shooting them when the other team's down 20 in the fourth quarter,
We put you down.
Might do that.
We put you down. Yeah. How did you get down? We did that.
How can you be the MVP when you're still shooting under 70% from the free throw line?
Nobody.
How can you do that?
But we shoot 50%.
Isn't that embarrassing?
You see that three-point field goal percentage ticking back up, ain't it?
Oh, it's ticked up to like 36%. Way to go.
I told you.
That probably ranks like 110th in the league.
I bet you don't.
Congratulations.
I bet you there ain't 109 guys you take in front of him.
Well, as three-point shooters, yes, there are.
I give you all of them.
Okay, I'll take them.
But I want to go.
Okay.
25, 12, and 12 in 31
I'll
minutes.
take the Clippers, who actually lead the league in three-point shooting, and did a number on Luka the other night.
All you got to do, anybody that's playing the Clippers, get them to the last 5 minutes and be within 5 of them.
Well, that sounds like LeBron. Get LeBron to the free throw line in the last 5 minutes, and you are golden.
And they'll fold like a banquet chair at the end of the night.
I don't know. This isn't about the Clippers right now. This is about LeBron. This is about how impressive. And when you actually sit back and think about how impressive it is, what he does away from the game, and he's playing at this elite level, I mean,
it's almost as impressive on the court.
It's really his school. Did you guys mention that? All right, I'm impressed by how he manages it all. Yes, he has a great team behind him, but impressive nonetheless. No mercy. Sunday, the best season ever continues on Fox as NASCAR Cup Series rolls into Atlanta, where every turn is its own test. You can catch all the action for the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500 at 3 Eastern on Fox and anywhere on the Fox Sports app. Well, the 2021 NFL League year kicks off today, and even though NFL teams have thrown millions of dollars at players this week already, there are still plenty of notable free agents available at every position, including Juju Smith-Schuster, Antonio Brown, Patrick Peterson, and Richard Sherman, among others. So, Shannon, I'm going to start with you here. Who are your top 5 available free agents right now?
Well, Skip, when I look at it, Skip, I don't believe there's anybody out there that says we're this player away from contending. I don't believe there's anybody that's left on the board. As a matter of fact, I'm not so sure there was anybody on the board outside of, maybe Trent Williams or that you could say, you know what? Now we're there. So when I look at it, I mean, I like Kenny Galladay, Skip, but is he a life changer? Is he a lifesaver?
No.
Juju, I've always felt Juju was a number 2.
Yep.
He had a great season when AB was there, and since AB was gone, we don't even talk about Juju. We talk about more for dancing and videos than we do his play on the field. T.Y. Hilton, he put together some great years, Skip, but I don't know why he's still in the market. Maybe the price. I mean, he's probably a free agent. Like, man, I'm looking at what Mike Thomas got. I'm looking at Julio. I'm looking at all these guys. But they don't view you as that. So his price is probably going to have to come down. He's probably looking like 17, 18. He's probably going to have to come down to 13. I like Pat Peterson, but he'll be 31 in July. I think he's probably the best available corner that's available. Sherman will be 33 this month. The injuries are starting to creep up on Sherman with a little more frequency and keep him out with a little more frequency. But Skip, when I look at this list, I'm like, is there a must-have?
No, but there are a lot of pretty good players.
Good players, but no life changers. So I would say I like Galladay. I don't love him. But all things being equal, I take Pat P. I take Pat P because I still believe he can cover at an elite level.
Okay.
He's not prime Pat Peterson, but he's still good enough.
All right. So you just took 1 out of 5, right?
I mean, okay, I'll take Pat P. I'll take Kenny Galladay. I'll take Sue. I like Anthony Harris. We're good.
That's it?
That's 4.
You only need 4.
Yeah.
Okay. I do agree on Kenny Galladay. He's getting all the buzz, and I don't understand why. He has also been hurt. And is he that much better than Juju or Sammy Watkins or T.Y. Hilton? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think he's better than Sammy Watkins at this juncture, Skip. Well, I like William Fuller, but he's going to miss a couple more games with suspension.
Okay, that's a very good point. And Hassan Reddick is still on this list, and you pointed out some of the safeties. Malik Hooker's still on this list. So there's still some fairly good younger Anthony Harris you mentioned still on this list. I want tried and true. I want proven pedigree.
Okay.
I'm with you with Patrick Peterson. He's 8-time Pro Bowler. Yes, he's going to play at 31, but that's not too old next year. And I want the Brady syndrome operating, where Patrick Peterson has been with one franchise and one franchise alone, and it finally said, no, we don't want you anymore. And now he's saying, oh, okay, well, watch this.
Right.
So he will be rejuvenated. He will be reconstituted. He will start over fresh, wherever it is. How about my Dallas Cowboys as the
Y'all ain't gonna pay no money.
Okay, well, again, you want to play for America's team?
No.
Yes.
No, I want to get paid.
Okay.
By any team.
Well, maybe you want to go win a Super Bowl in Dallas.
That ain't gonna happen. Well, he better go to Tampa or Green Bay or somebody.
Maybe you want to go do for Dallas what Dion once upon a time did in 1995. That probably.
Oh, y'all that close? So y'all that close to a Super Bowl, huh?
Maybe.
Skip, y'all wasn't even in the. Y'all didn't make the playoffs. At least they lost the championship game before they got Dion.
Think about this: Trevon Diggs at one corner, Patrick Surtain at the other corner, because we'll take him with the 10th overall, and then Patrick Peterson as the mentor of those two, who can play whatever dime coverage you need. He can also play, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He could even transition to safety at some point. I do believe he is a stud now.
Oh my goodness!
Okay.
You just want all the good players.
Okay. Richard Sherman. I've had my issues with him in the past, but I still believe he has high value at age 33, and he has had some injuries. I agree with you.
Yes.
He also made 5 Pro Bowls. As late as 2019, he made a Pro Bowl. Well, he can help you. He can play with his head more than his body right now. He's valuable to me. Plus, just for your locker room's sake, we got Richard Sherman. It's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
So he's number 2 on my list. Ndamukong Suh, you mentioned. He can still, he's a force.
Yeah.
I don't care what you say. He's 34 years of age, but he's made 5 Pro Bowls.
Yes.
I want pedigree. I want proven. I want somebody who's been there and done all that, and he's coming in with a ring. And then Malcolm Butler, I'm a fan. He won me over with one play.
Yeah, I bet he did. I bet you are a fan.
Okay. He did make a Pro Bowl. He's 31 years of age. He can just play.
Yeah.
And he started for Tennessee all last year, and then they just decided, we're going to wipe out our whole, almost 3/4 of our secondary and just start over. Adoree Jackson's on this list. I think he can play. And Kenny Vaccaro can play. Tennessee said no, and just sent them all out on the free agent market. So I've got him on my list. And then Jadeveon Clowney. Again, he's all of 28 years of age. He has made 3 Pro Bowls. I know he stays hurt. I know he's underachieved this and that. I would take a shot because I don't think he's going to cost that much money. And once upon a time, he was about as dominating a kid coming out of college as you've ever seen.
But that was the thing, Skip. He's really never lived up to the billing that he was in college or what they saw.
But we have seen big flashes from him.
Oh, yeah, Skip, a guy that size that can move like he can. Skip, he should have been doing Aaron Donald type things.
Okay.
Because he has that kind of ability. He has that kind of raw athleticism. But for whatever reason, he's never reached his full potential. A lot of his injury, and it's hard. He started out with a toe injury, foot injury, and then he had elbow, he had knee. So he's always been nicked. But of all the guys we mentioned, are any of them changing the life?
Okay. If Antonio Brown were not so connected to Tom Brady, he could, I'm not saying he could change your life, but I still think he's a major player. Well, like a big fact. He could change your life.
If he wasn't a headache, he'd have never been out of Pittsburgh.
I got it. But again, I saw flashes of greatness from him last year. He's not quite what he used to be, but I'm assuming he's not on the market because you keep saying to me, it's Brady, it's Tampa, it's over, it's done.
Yeah, because I'm not so sure.
Well, it's not announced.
Does anybody have the locker room outside of Tampa to be able to deal with him?
I don't know.
And what we've seen is that if you don't have the locker room and you give him a boatload of money, Skip, he show his butt. So I don't want to be. I don't want to be in a situation where we got to go to arbitration because you acted a fool. You done got 10, 12 million of my dollars and you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So I'm just gonna look. Let just Tampa. Hey, you want to keep winning the Super Bowl with Tampa? Have at it. Because I don't trust you. I'm happy that he got an opportunity. He's played well, but let him stay in Tampa and play well.
Okay. My final X factor on this list is a guy I just have so much respect for, and I don't know why he keeps bouncing from team to team. That is Jared Cook. All he ever does is make plays. Every time I look up, he's making a play. He made a play in the 2016 playoff game at Jerry World for Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers that beat my Cowboys.
His football IQ is not where it needs to be.
Okay.
Skip, he's immensely talented.
Immensely. He caught 7 touchdown passes last year for New Orleans. He obviously got he was responsible for the fumble that lost.
Yeah, but Skip, like I said, see, people think that just because you're a great player, you have high football or basketball or baseball intellect. Those are two different things. I read something Elon Musk said, we got to stop because someone has a degree, we think they're smart. You can have a degree and still be an idiot. Well, he's not an idiot, Skip, but he has to understand, if I catch a pass, the guy's right here on my right side, why would I shift the ball to my right? Put the ball to your left. Put the ball in the arm that's facing close to the sideline. It's little things like that. Skip, and I tell guys all the time, understand situations. Bro, it's third down. You got the first down. You fighting for extra yards. You fumbled the ball. Why? You had the first down. The most important thing is for you to maintain possession and stay on the field.
Yep.
It's things like that. Over his career, if you go back and study his career, watch his career, he just make too many mistakes.
Okay, but I've seen him make so many
Yes.
mistakes. He's 34 years old. He's about to be on his sixth team, and you watch. He will be productive for that sixth team. He might make some mistakes also,
Skip.
but he is worth the price of admission.
A guy that's 6'6", 250, 255, can run like he can run with the catch radius. You're not supposed to be on 6 different teams with that kind of ability. It goes to show you that something is lacking. That's all I'm saying, Skip.
I'll take him. I'll take him.
Oh, you want him in Dallas?
We're pretty set at that.
Oh, now you trying
We
to
got two potential Shannon Sharps at tight end.
One guy's coming off an
We
ACL
got
injury.
Shannon Jarwin, and we got Dalton Schultz. Yep.
Oh,
But you just hyped up Jared Cook. You just said all these great things about Jared Cook.
He's just a player. I want him on my team. I would pay him.
He is a player that crushes his team's hopes a lot.
Oh, that's not true. That's not true. You can't find him. You can't find players like that.
What? The one that cost you in crucial situations?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find him.
Caught 7 touchdowns last year. That's pretty good.
But what do you remember him for? The fumble in Tampa and the fumble in New Orleans.
What I remember him for is whatever that was.
Went to Jared.
Third and forever. Went to Jared when Aaron Rodgers called the play in the huddle where he's going to roll the pocket, move the pocket left.
Yeah, he needed that.
And it was the easiest pitch and catch throw I have ever seen. There's nobody.
If Dak had made that play, we'd still be showing it. We show it every time the Cowboys play. If Dak Prescott had made that exact play that Aaron Rodgers had made.
I don't know why Rod Marinelli would call prevent on that. I don't know where our man Orlando Scandrick was on that play.
Oh, so he was on the other side.
Yeah, I don't know because Jared Cook just went all the way across, with a deep crossing route. I'm open on the sideline, and it's ball game. Sets up a 51-yard field goal that it gets hooked and slices back in by Mason Crossbar. How's that possible? Cost me a playoff game. Cost me an NFC championship game.
Skip, all it did is it saved you from further heartache. All you're going to be is disappointed you got there and then got the doors blown off you. You'd have been disappointed.
We would have won at Atlanta. Wouldn't that have happened? Or would we have at home?
Yeah,
we might have had at home. We were 13-3.
No, y'all
We would have beaten the Falcons.
No mercy.
despite the Houston Texans insisting that a disgruntled Deshaun Watson will be their quarterback in 2021, they've added another signal caller to the group just in case, agreeing with Tyrod Taylor on a one-year, $12.5 million deal. Reports then surfaced yesterday that Watson prefers to be traded to Denver or San Francisco. And last night, a lawyer claimed he has filed suit against Watson, alleging mistreatment of a massage therapist, which led the QB to put out a statement denying the allegations and saying he looks forward to clearing his name. No criminal charges have been filed at this point. So, Skip, I'm going to start with you here. What does all of this tell you?
Shannon Sharpe. Let's start with the lawsuit. All I know for sure about this lawsuit is it cannot help Deshaun's chances of getting traded. It is going to, fairly or unfairly, raise a red flag among teams that want to trade for Deshaun that might or might not should have been raised. That we have, at this point, no idea what really happened. I have zero idea whether this is baseless or whether it's 1,000% legitimate. So here's what we know so far. Houston attorney Tony Busby, who's something of a celebrity attorney, he ran for mayor in Houston 2019 but lost, posted on Instagram a story about the lawsuit that he says he has filed. No criminal charges.
What kind of lawyer does that?
I don't, well, it's a celebrity. You could call it a stunt if you want to, but he did do it.
Right.
You can question the timing of it. Was he trying to make it harder for Deshaun to get traded at this point?
Well, that's how you do it, Skip. You come out publicly with it and then they settle. So make it all go away.
It could be that way. But the issue here at hand for us is that Deshaun has responded on Twitter to it. And I would have probably advised Deshaun not to respond to it. If you think it's baseless, just ignore it.
Hire your attorney. Let them deal with it.
Okay. But he did respond, and he said that he has rejected a, quote, baseless six-figure settlement demand, and that this is all about clearing my name, and I look forward to doing that. So then Tony Busby talked to Fox 26 in Houston and went into more depth about what the lawsuit concerns, and he said that, quote, unquote, Watson went too far with a woman who was giving him a massage. Deshaun's response to that via Twitter was, I have never treated any woman with anything other than the utmost respect. So, in the end, no idea where this is going to go. I know nothing about this. You know nothing. Again, it could be 100% true. It could be 100% false. We don't know.
Right.
But it's not a good look for Deshaun at this point because, to your point, you've been ahead of this story from the start, he badly wants out of Houston. What do we know about Deshaun's track record so far off the field? Flawless as far as I know.
Yes.
No baggage whatsoever, right? No misbehavior of any kind that I am aware of.
Neither am I.
Okay? So now what do we know yesterday about the Texans' new strategy? They signed Tyrod Taylor, and they gave him pretty decent money, $12 million, because he's a viable starter in this league.
He is.
So we know Tyrod is 24, 21, and 1 as a starter. And we know that in those 3 years in Buffalo, he threw 51 touchdowns to only 16 interceptions. So he's pretty good, and he's a legitimate plan B if you don't have Deshaun. I believe they signed him not because they think they're going to trade Deshaun, but I think they signed him because they think Deshaun is going to sit out this season because they are going to force him to sit out because they're going to say, we gave you your big new deal a year ago. We control your rights for the next 4 years. So you're going to play for us or you're going to play for nobody. So I think this situation is about to go from bad to worse.
Yes.
I think it's going to get nothing but ugly, and I pity both sides of this because nothing much good is going to come out of this.
Right.
But I believe they're going to try to force Deshaun to play, if not this coming season, then the following season to serve out his contract in Houston.
Just don't see it happening. So, that's the point. Skip, to me, I just hate giving the story because I don't, really like to take anything about a lawsuit that's posted on social media about what's going to happen or may not happen. I like what
we haven't even seen the lawsuit.
The fact that he mentioned it via social media, let it go through the proper channels, let it run its course, and then you and I will have an opinion one way or another what the NFL is going to do or what Deshaun's going to do. But to this, where Deshaun wants to go, Deshaun wants out. He wants to go the hell away from Houston. Let's just start there. Skip, I'm getting in my car, and I don't know where I'm going. I didn't know where I was going to live when I was an adult. I just know I was leaving Glenville. So let's start with that. I want to leave Houston. Now, I got a few places in mind I would like to, hey, Atlanta might be nice. Hey, maybe Florida, maybe California, Texas. Okay. That's what he's thinking. He says, okay, 49ers, Broncos. The Jets have the firepower. The Jets really have the arsenal early, Skip. Because, like I said, they have the 2 first-round picks from Seattle for the Jamal Adams trade. So within the next 2 years, Skip, we can cash out. You want 3 first-rounders? You want 4 first-rounders? We'll give you our 4 first. We'll give you 4 first-rounders. 2 this year, 2 next year. Give us Deshaun. So they have that right now, Skip. They can cash them out. We ain't got to go 2021, 2022, 2023. We can have you paid off full by 2022. That's what you want. But it seems to me, I've always felt the 49ers were the best fit hey, I'm biased. The Broncos, hey, that's my team.
Yep.
12 years there. They got some young weapons, but who's Sherman? Mm-hmm. Pat Sherman calling plays in your ear, or Kyle Shanahan calling plays in your ear?
Agreed.
I think I won't.
Okay, so you're referring to the sourced report via The Athletic that says Jets are out for Deshaun, mm-hmm. Miami is out for Deshaun, but that he would go Denver or San Francisco. Mm-hmm. And it threw me a curve on Denver because I don't get it.
Right.
What is he seeing in Denver that I'm not? Because since Peyton left and they won that Super Bowl, they have missed the playoffs 5 straight years. 4 of those times they were sub 500. They were 5-11 a year ago.
Skip, they do have young talent offensively. They Von Miller, they picked up Von's option. Now, I believe Von is going to have a bounce back year. I believe Von is going to play his tail off.
By the way, they tied for 6th in defense last year. So
with no Von.
Good. Yep.
So now you get Von. You get a Chubb who's another year removed from that ACL surgery.
Yep.
I can see why Deshaun would offensively, Skip. Mm-hmm. Garrett Bowles, although he's not Trent Williams, he's a very good left tackle. He's turned his career completely around. Yeah. But you look at Tim Patrick, you look at Jerry Jeudy, you look at Cortland Sutton, Noah Fant. They got Melvin Gordon at running back. I think they tendered Philip Lindsay. So they got a nice offensive nucleus.
Hamler, I like.
Yeah. So Skip, they got a nice little nucleus there. So I see that's something he can work with. And I would, get me a number 4 jersey. But put him with, he'll be an MVP. He goes to Kyle Shanahan, he'll be an MVP.
He would be, because you've got Kittle and you got Debo and you got Ayuk.
And that running game, Skip.
It doesn't matter who's running the ball. They're just going to run it.
They're just going to run the football. Yep. And you need a mobile quarterback. Skip, if you go back, no offense has produced more MVPs than the West Coast.
Yep.
From Montana to Young to Elway to Mahomes to Favre to Rodgers. Nobody. And quarterbacks that we don't like. McNabb in the West Coast, Garcia.
Yep.
So, Skip, that kid's talent in that offense, his ability to throw the ball, rolling left, rolling right, moving the pocket.
Yep.
He's an MVP. With Deshaun Watson, the 49ers are a contender, Skip.
Yep.
They get those guys back. They get Bosa back. Armstead comes back.
No doubt. Completely agreed. So what has Deshaun watched right under his nose in Houston? He's a big Rockets fan. He watched James Harden demand his way right out of town.
Right.
To where he wanted to go, which was Brooklyn with KD and Kyrie. And so now Deshaun, who has high character, he just says, well, they snubbed me. They wouldn't let me be involved in decision-making, so I'm going to snub them. I want out.
Right.
And if I know that organization, these are some stubborn people. And they're going to say no, because they're going to say, we're going to replace you with what? Yeah,
I mean, to have, you, like you said, he doesn't want the prisoners running the...
No, yeah. That was Robert McNair, the late Robert McNair. Now Cal is...
That's his thinking.
Yep.
And that guy...
That is the mindset.
Yeah.
I would agree.
You think you can do this to us?
Yep.
You can do this to me?
Yep.
Well, I'm going to show you.
So we got a stalemate here, and I'm afraid we're going to talk about it nearly as much as we talked about Dak versus Jerry for 2 long years.
Well, Skip, for me, I think once the draft is over, I think it's going to, because it's probably going to start to heat up a little bit more as we get closer to the draft. We'll start hearing things, okay, this is, because you know what it is, Skip? I got 3 first-rounders for you. Guy doesn't want to be there. Skip. She don't want to be in the marriage anymore. You can't buy enough houses. You can't buy a big enough ring, big enough diamonds and pearls. She doesn't want to be. He wants to be gone. He doesn't want to be in this relationship any longer. So you can't coax me. Well, I'll give you this. No.
I agree. The bottom line to this is, in the history of the National Football League, there has never ever been a quarterback this young and this talented and this proven potentially available.
No, never.
But it's because he wants to be available, not because his team wants to make him
25?
No mercy.
So get this, many young NBA players grew up idolizing LeBron James. So facing him for the first time usually comes with a bit of excitement. But according to LaMelo Ball, Thursday will be just another game for him. When asked if he was excited to be facing LeBron for the first time, LaMelo said, quote, nah, I grew up a little different, not really on basketball like that. So not really. I'm trying to figure out what he's saying here. Shannon, are you surprised by LaMelo's answer?
No, not really. I mean, everybody doesn't have to idolize LeBron. I mean, some guys idolize Kobe, like some guys idolize Magic and not Michael. Some guys like Larry Bird. I mean, it's okay. But he says, look, I'm going into this game and I'm going to approach it like I do all the game, with the purpose on winning. Yeah, I mean, sure. Knowing LeBron, I want to, sure, I want to beat LeBron, Skip, but I didn't take anything. He says my idol was Kobe and my dad. I mean, being from L.A., it's hard to be from L.A., Skip, and not have Kobe Bryant be your idol. You're right here. It's kind of like in Chicago. The likelihood of you grow up in Chicago and Michael Jordan wasn't your idol, if you grew up in the 80s and the 90s, that probably, maybe one person, two people. But that's okay. He said it'd be cool to face LeBron. Lonzo pattern his game, do a little bit of everything. Score if I need to, rebound, assist the ball. Melo, but I didn't look at it as a shot. I didn't look at it as a slight. I look at it as a guy that, trying to find his own way into the league. It's like, look, I understand what LeBron is, what he is as a player, what he means to this league, but he wasn't my idol growing up. And so I didn't take anything from it. But once he get up close and personal and he see the myth, he see the legend. And we're going to talk to
him. Shrink?
Nah, he built different.
Think his throat will get a little tight?
Nah, that's from us because, we start doing them dunks and them triple. Skip, do you see LeBron block that shot last night?
No, I would like to talk about LaMelo Ball. It's the Timberwolves. Come on.
Hey.
You took a shot at Jenny, huh?
I did. I took a shot at the T-Wolves. Here's the point about this kid. I've been watching him a lot. He just plays in his own world. It's like he's got a different song playing in his head. And I don't even know what the song is, but it's almost like he's not from our planet.
Only he hears that song.
Yeah, only he hears it, and he has so much fun out there.
He does.
Just such, nothing seems to bother him. Even if they sort of shut him out of the offense occasionally, like, I'm open over here, but it doesn't bother him. He's just happy to be out there.
Right.
So he has started for 18 games now. They have risen to 20-18. The 5th seed in the East, and he's averaging 20 points as a starter, 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists. And he is highly capable of getting double-digit rebounds.
Yeah.
And he's still just a skinny little teenager because he's got the genius going on. He's got the Rodman-esque below-the-rim rebounding where he can anticipate the carom before the shot hits the rim.
Yes.
He just sees it and feels, it's going to go this way, and I'm going to be there before you
He takes off,
okay?
He does.
All right? So it's not like he's physical. He hadn't got his man body yet, but he will in time because his dad's got a man body. And he's got
I don't know if he's going to be quite as thick as his dad.
I don't think so. But I loved what he said because it's so different than most kids who are playing in the NBA. Most of the young kids grew up idolizing LeBron or Kobe or somebody, or just idolizing the NBA in general. And he's like, I wasn't really into basketball.
Right.
He liked to play basketball, but he didn't really like to watch basketball.
That's what he said. He said, I'd rather watch the game at home than watch it in person.
Okay. Well, this is highly
I'm with you, Melo.
Okay. But seriously, this just doesn't happen. And it was very cool that he said, my idol was my pops.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, a lot of people have issues with LeVar, but the youngest is just all in on pops.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty great.
It is.
And it gives him a structure because obviously his mother was the strength of that household to me. And so he had a very strong 2-parent background growing up. And it made him a great kid.
Yeah.
And it made him impervious to NBA pressure because he's like, I don't know, I just play basketball.
Exactly.
I just do it the way I've always done.
I just do what I've always done. I'm doing something that I really love. I happen to be good at it. So guess what? It ain't no pressure. I just keep doing what I'm doing that's got me this far. It's going to take me even further. And Skip, like I said, he plays hard, too. I mean, he'll miss a shot. Somebody grab the rebound. He'll come take it from him and lay the ball up.
Will.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, to be 19 and to play with this kind of passion, I mean, he's unbelievable to watch. Mike finally got one right. All the draft picks, this might be Mike Green.
No, seriously.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very short list. I mean, Kemba Walker is his best draft pick right now. But looks like LaMelo is going to be his best draft pick.
Back to the days of Kwame Brown. You know, that's back to the Washington days.
Adam Morris, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist.
Oh, Lord have mercy. All of them.
Frank Kaminsky.
Ooh. Yeah. And Gordon Hayward has played better than I thought. I'm not the biggest fan, and he overpaid for him, but he is playing at a high level.
But, you know, Gordon said it. What's the difference? I got the ball in my hands. Skip, he was going to be the third option.
Okay.
And maybe the fourth option, because you got Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Kemba. So now he's the first option. So now he's what he's doing when he was in Utah. This looks like the Utah Gordon Hayward, Skip.
It does. So LeVar sat right there 3 years ago, and in a commercial break told me my youngest will be my best.
Yeah.
Really? Because at that point, I thought Lonzo was going to be pretty great.
Right.
And Lonzo is becoming pretty great as he becomes a man. His whole body has changed. His whole demeanor has changed. And obviously, he got his shot from over here to back where it should be.
Right.
Well, the one issue I've always had with LeVar was, why did you let both those kids grow up shooting it the wrong way? Because the youngest shot it funky, unconventionally also.
Yeah.
And when he went last year to play pro basketball in Australia, he shot 25% from three.
Right.
Guess what he is now? How about 44% in the National Basketball Association? Will that work?
And he's shooting deep threes, Skip. It ain't like he's shooting all these little corner threes. He's like, he logoing too.
Yeah, and it's a little cross-face,
right.
but it works. And Lonzo has gone straight conventional now.
Skip, he just have great feel for the game of basketball.
Especially offensive.
He does, Skip.
He's got a little genius going on.
He really does. He just has a feel. He has great basketball IQ. Like you said, once he starts, he's going to feel like he's 19. He's a teenager. Once he gets to be about 22, 23, he starts lifting, because I know his daddy's going to have him in the weight room. He starts to fill out. He's never going to have shoulders like his dad. No. His dad was a football player. His dad was 255, 260. He ain't going to beat that. But he'll put some size on him. He'll get some strength on him. He's going to be a player. He looks like he's the real deal. You watch him play, you're like, okay, this kid, he can play.
Lonzo is a basketball player, but Lonzo will not sell tickets the way this kid. This is box office now.
Yes. He views himself as an entertainer. Lonzo said, I'm a basketball player. I'm a rebound. I'm a assist the ball. If you need me to score, I'll score. But he's not trying to entertain. This kid, he tried to go behind his back. He tried to go between his legs. He's entertaining you.
And he's got a smile on his face the whole time.
Game.
And it's not like he's condescending. He's not laughing at you. He's just having fun.
Skip, they play hard. I mean, Terry Rozier is not afraid of a moment.
He is not.
He will take a big shot. Malik Monk coming off the bench is starting to play better now. You mentioned Gordon Hayward, P.J. Washington. Skip, they got some nice players. I'm not saying they're going to contend in the East.
And James Borrego, a Pop protege. He's showing me something.
But they play hard. They play hard, and you could appreciate that with a young team.
So this was not intended as any disrespect toward LeBron. He just being honest, like, I didn't follow basketball.
Right. It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm sure he's a great player, and I'll just play basketball.
You're going to play basketball. But you see my guy, Skip. My guy doing that thing, ain't he?
Is he?
We cut his. Think about this, Skip. We cut his minutes, and we give you more points than assists. So in other words,
time out. This teenager is making 85% of his free throws, and LeBron, who's been in the league for 18 years, is all the way down at 69%. They're called free throws. Really?
I want you to go on record right now. LaMelo Ball will have a better career than LeBron. Go on record right now.
I'll go on record as saying Michael Jordan had a better career than LeBron.
Dude,
stop it, Skip. Don't do that, Skip. That's so unbecoming. You go in the segment on that. You go in the segment on that.
And now we're on MJ. We don't have time. No mercy. Well, another Patriots reunion may be in the works down in Tampa. The Bucs are reportedly interested in signing free agent running back James White. White has been one of the NFL's best pass-catching running backs and one of Tom Brady's favorite targets. He averaged 80 receptions and 6 receiving TDs in his final 2 seasons with Brady as his quarterback. So, Shannon, would you like to see Brady reunite with his former teammate here?
Sure. I mean, Skip, he's different than Leonard Fournette and Rojo. He's more of a pass catcher. Those guys are more runners. He's more gifted at catching the football than those two. He's a naturally pass-catching running back. Skip, remember, he had like 14 catches in the Super Bowl. So Brady trusted him.
Should have been MVP, and Brady said that he should have been.
He could have easily been the MVP. So basically, you're going to see him on third down.
Yep.
He's great in the screen game. But not only, Skip, they used to split him out wide and throw the ball to him like he was a receiver. Mm-hmm. So he's better at catching the football, but I think Fournette and Rojo are better suited because they allow them to play. He allowed them to play action. So they're just totally different. But Brady knows him. He knows Brady. He's going to always be where he's supposed to be. Sure, if that's what Brady wants, and Brady normally gets what he wants.
If he gets what he wants, it's over, Shannon. This would be it.
No, stop.
Door shuts on you, on New England. Remember, James White's 29 years of age, and he plays bigger and stronger. He's only 5'10", but he's 205, and he plays strong. He can run it a little bit. If he catches you off guard, he can run it.
Yeah, and like I said, Brady, he's better at catching the football. He's better in the screen game than those guys are because, Skip, Brady loves the screen game. Catch you coming that blitz and he slip it. He understands that. But I think if I was them, I would probably prioritize getting Fournette back. But James White's not going to cost a ton of money, Skip. Probably minimum, maybe 1.5.
This could spell a little trouble for my man Keyshawn Vaughn out of Vanderbilt University because he might not have a spot left.
Well, you told me Keyshawn Vaughn. Watch out for the little guy from Vanderbilt, Keyshawn Vaughn.
He's a young James White, but he may have to wait for the old James White. Right?
Nah, he might be, but we waiting on the new team. He's bumping the ball.
Always helping them out. All right, that is it for us. Skip, Shannon, great stuff today. We're back at the same time tomorrow morning. The Herd is next with Colin and Joy. Have a great day, guys.